Hey there, Scorpio. How are you doing today? I'm so happy you're joining me for your comprehensive tarot reading, relevant for the first half of May 2025. I've cleared the energy in this space and meditated on your cards, connecting to the vibrations that resonate with your Scorpio spirit. Let's kick off by unlocking the affirmation that's whispering to you most clearly now. I welcome all new opportunities and experiences. This phrase has selected you, so say it with me, either in a whisper or with confidence, and let its peaceful energy envelop you. I welcome all new opportunities and experiences. I welcome all new opportunities and experiences. Now, let's begin your reading by drawing the 3 key tarot cards that will guide you through these 2 weeks. We have 10 of Cups, 4 of Swords, and Knight of Swords. Accompanying these is the oracle card Llama from the Spirit Animal Wisdom deck. As for your tea leaf fortune card, it is Haystack. I'm getting a really heartwarming vibe with the 10 of Cups leading off. It feels like you're stepping into a chapter where things at home or in your closest relationships could feel surprisingly uplifting. You might find yourself sitting around a dinner table that's buzzing with laughter and warm chatter. Maybe it's that family barbecue you've been meaning to host, or a low-key movie night with your crew. You know that feeling when you look around and think, wow, I'm exactly where I need to be? That's the 10 of Cups energy, but it could also show up in a different way. A friend group finally clicking on a project, or a team at work celebrating a win that you poured your heart into. It's that moment when you realize the bond you've built is paying off. Do you remember a time when you felt complete satisfaction after planning something for someone else? How might that sense of emotional unity play out for you now? But before you ride that wave of joy, the 4 of Swords steps in to remind you that rest is part of the package. For a sign like Scorpio, who often charges ahead with laser focus, pausing can feel almost foreign. Yet here it's whispering that pulling back is actually part of moving forward. Maybe you've been burning the midnight oil, scrolling through news feeds or answering every text right away, and you're feeling a bit jittery. Picture yourself tucked under a soft blanket, a cup of herbal tea in hand, or lying on a sun-warmed rock by a quiet trail, giving your mind the space to wander and release. It could even be a literal nap, one of those unplanned, do-not-disturb sessions that you wake up from feeling strangely lighter. For you, Scorpio, who tends to dive headfirst into intense emotions, this card could be urging you to schedule deliberate timeouts. What would happen if you let yourself truly switch off for a moment? Where could you carve out that little oasis of calm in your day? Now, come charging in the Knight of Swords, bringing in bold action, fast decisions, and maybe a touch of impatience. After that gentle rest, you could suddenly feel a burst of clarity, like a jolt of lightning, when you realize exactly what you need to say or do. This knight isn't subtle. He's that friend who texts you at midnight with an urgent idea or dashes into a meeting with a stack of paperwork ready to conquer. You might get an email about a new opportunity at work and feel that adrenaline rush to reply instantly. Or a surge of inspiration might hit you for a creative project, and you start outlining it at top speed. The tricky part is balancing that drive with the 4 of Swords call for stillness, because rushing ahead without checking in with yourself might lead to burnout. Have you ever jumped into something headfirst only to realize later you missed a key detail? How can you use that same intensity to propel you forward while still honoring the need to rest? I hope you're finding this reading meaningful. Let me know with a like and subscribe to the channel. Layered on top of these tarot cards is the oracle card of the Llama, all about soul growth, resilience, and taking your time on the journey. Llamas thrive in harsh landscapes, and that tells me you've got the inner strength to weather whatever comes your way. Yet they also remind us not to overload our packs. You might be juggling a tight budget, family obligations, a new fitness class, and your spiritual practice all at once. If you pile too much worry on your mental back, you risk snapping under the weight. So the message here is twofold. Recognize your own toughness. You can handle challenges, and also check your load. Where are you carrying extra stress that doesn't belong to you? Maybe you're taking on a friend's drama or replaying a past mistake on loop. The Llama says, Let that go and trust that each step is part of your growth. What burdens are you ready to set down? How can you lighten your load so you can move more freely? Finally, we have the tea leaf card of the haystack, a clear reminder of karma and the law of cause and effect. Whatever seeds you planted in the past are ready to sprout into full view. If you've been generous with your time, kind in your words, and honest in your dealings, then you're likely to see positive payoffs. Perhaps someone you helped years ago reaches back out with an unexpected favor. Or a compliment you offered lingers in someone's mind and now opens a door for you. On the flip side, if there's something you've swept under the rug, a cutting remark, a promise you let slip, then you might feel that returning gust of energy, nudging you to address it. For Scorpio, this can be intense since you feel things so deeply. So check in. What have you sown recently? Are there relationships or obligations that need tending before they grow into something you can't easily manage? When I weave all of this together, Scorpio, it feels like your first half of May is a dance between deep emotional fulfillment, necessary rest, swift action, inner resilience, and the unfolding of past efforts. The Ten of Cups offers you a taste of joy and connection, but the Four of Swords says you've got to pause enough to savor it and recharge. Then the Knight of Swords shakes loose that energy into quick moves and decisions, which the Llama supports by reminding you that your journey is all about growth, and that you're more capable than you know. But don't forget the haystack's warning. What you've put out there is circling back. This period could be transformative, with moments of real warmth and celebration, interspersed with quiet reflection, bursts of enthusiasm, and lessons about balance. Because you're a Scorpio, known for your intensity and passion, you're uniquely equipped to dive into these layers. You can feel deeply when the cups overflow, trust your intuition to know when you need that Four Swords retreat, and then harness your fearless spirit to charge ahead like the knight. Your innate resourcefulness will help you lighten your load like the llama, strategically setting aside what no longer serves you. And your sense of accountability will guide you to honor the haystack's message about karma. So think about this. As May begins, where are you longing for more joy and connection? When will you schedule that much-needed pause? What decision might you leap into with clarity? Which worries can you release? And what past actions need your attention now that the universe is giving you this gentle or not so gentle reminder that energy always comes back around? Take a moment right now, Scorpio, and ask yourself, how does your heart feel about your closest connections? Can you carve out a space to really breathe and reset? What decision or conversation are you ready to tackle with your signature courage? And finally, what legacy of energy are you ready to invest in, knowing it will return to you before the month is half over? May is offering you a rich tapestry of experiences, each one teaching you more about who you are and where you want to go. Trust your intuition, honor your boundaries, and remember that even the mightiest llama moves one steady step at a time. Let this be a time of real emotional blossoming, thoughtful rest, swift but smart action, and mindful reflection on the seeds you've planted. You've got this, Scorpio. May's magic is yours to claim. What if unlocking abundance was as simple as pressing play? The Money Wave is designed to reprogram your mind for wealth. Don't miss out. Check the link in the description. Now, let's turn our attention to the central theme of love and relationships. Your true love oracle card is emotional freedom, and the tarot card is the Chariot. I'm sensing right away that the Chariot is rolling into your heart space with a surge of drive and determination. In a relationship, it feels like you and your partner have spotted the same destination, maybe planning a trip together, or setting a goal like moving in, adopting a pet, or tackling a joint project. Picture two spirited horses pulling that chariot, each wanting to gallop at full speed, and your job is to guide them in harmony. If you're single, the Chariot shows up as your own inner driver, ready to charge forward towards someone who matches your intensity. You might suddenly feel bold enough to ask that person out, or to clear away old doubts that held you back from making the first move. Think of a time when you and someone else were so aligned on what you wanted. Maybe you and a friend teamed up to plan an epic event, Or you collaborated on a work assignment and everything clicked. That synergy is exactly what the Chariot wants you to tap into now in love. But remember, that's two horses. If one pulls too hard to the left, the Chariot veers off course. Are there parts of your relationship or dating life where you or the other person is pulling in opposing directions? What happens when you push forward without checking in with your own needs or theirs? Right beside the Chariot, the Emotional Freedom Oracle card reminds you that true freedom doesn't vanish the moment you say yes to love. I know Scorpios can be wary of giving up autonomy. You thrive when you can explore the depths of your own emotions on your own terms. This card is gently challenging that fear. If you're single and find yourself shutting down at the idea of commitment because you worry it'll clip your wings, ask yourself when loneliness felt like a prison instead of freedom. Have you ever felt more alive sharing your passions and quirks with someone who really gets you? You might discover that partnership actually amplifies your individuality rather than cages it. If you're already in a relationship, emotional freedom is urging you to see that your partner isn't a jailer, but a fellow traveler. You may have built up walls, holding back parts of yourself out of old worries that love equals control. This card says it's time to lower the drawbridge. Real freedom in a relationship comes from both people feeling safe to speak their truths and chase their dreams. Think of a couple you know who encourages each other's independent hobbies. Maybe one partner paints while the other trains for a marathon, and then they share those experiences to enrich their bond. How could you invite that level of mutual support into your relationship? What would it feel like to talk to your partner about something you've kept private, trusting they'll cheer you on rather than judge you? When I weave the Chariot and emotional freedom into our general readings flow, something powerful happens. Remember how the 10 of Cups showed you a vision of emotional fulfillment and harmony? In love, that translates to celebrating victories together, laughing over inside jokes, planning family gatherings, or simply basking in the comfort of knowing you're on the same team. But then the Four of Swords whispered that you need moments of stillness to process and recharge. So before you barrel ahead with the Chariot speed, carve out a little quiet time, maybe a shared meditation session or a solo walk to clear your head, so you're both coming from a centered place. Have you ever tried breathing exercises with your partner? Or do you need to steal 10 minutes alone to gather your thoughts before a big conversation? Next, the Knight of Swords energy can kick in after that rest, giving you the clarity and courage to speak up swiftly. Picture yourself sending a text you've hesitated on, or bringing up that life plan you've been dancing around. That same drive can light a fire under your relationship, pushing you to set new goals together or to ask for what you need. But let's not overload our mental packs. In line with our Llama Oracle from the general reading, if your Chariot is piled high with unspoken resentments, heavy expectations, or old grudges, it's going to slow you down or even sputter to a halt. So take a moment and survey your load. What emotional baggage are you lugging that belongs to past relationships or old family dynamics? How can you set down what no longer serves you so the Chariot can roll smoothly? Then the Haystack's karmic wisdom reminds us once again that what you've sown in love comes back around. If you've been generous with compassion, honest in communication, and supportive of your partner's dreams, expect that richness to return twofold. If you've held back kindness or let criticism stack up, you may see that tension surface now, asking you to address it. Reflect on patterns. Have you tended to push forward without listening, or to retreat into silence without explaining why? Whatever seeds you planted there, this is harvest season. Are you ready to pick the flowers and leave the weeds behind? So weaving it all together for your love life or relationships in early May, the story goes like this. You're riding a surge of passion and purpose with the Chariot, guided by the promise of deep connection and amplified individuality. Emotional freedom ensures that in driving forward, you honor both your need for autonomy and the magic of sharing your unique selves. You'll do this best by alternating bursts of focused action with intentional rest, keeping an eye on that emotional load so you don't burn out, and staying aware that karma is always at play in close bonds. Ask yourself right now, Where in your love life do you feel that rush to move forward? And where do you need a pause to recharge? In what ways are you carrying old fears about losing yourself in a relationship? And how can you release them? What seeds of support and honesty do you want to plant this week so you can enjoy a bounty of trust and passion by mid-May? Trust that Scorpio drive to steer your chariot, but remember that emotional freedom and karmic balance are your allies, making sure you arrive at your destination not just on time, but with your heart fully intact and your spirit soaring. And now, the cards are ready to reveal insights about your career and education. Your Dreamweaver's Oracle card is, If the River Flows This Way, and the Tarot card is, Eight of Cups. First up, the Eight of Cups is that moment at work or in school when you realize you're pouring your energy into something that just isn't feeding your soul anymore. Maybe you've been grinding away at a project that sounded amazing on paper, but leaves you feeling emptied at the end of each day. Or you're slogging through classes that feel like busy work instead of building your future. Imagine finishing a semester and feeling restless instead of relieved, or getting to Friday at your job only to wonder, why am I here again? The Eight of Cups says it's okay to pack up those emotional buckets and walk towards something more meaningful. Have you ever quit a role or dropped a class and then felt an instant weight lift? What if the very thing that's calling to you right now is the path you need to explore, even if it means leaving behind what's familiar? Alongside that, the Oracle card, If the River Flows This Way, is coaxing you to stop overthinking your next move and instead glide with whatever inspiration carries you. It's like stepping into a river of creative ideas and letting them carry you to fresh opportunities, whether that's a new training program, a workshop you never thought to try, or a side hustle idea that popped into your head at odd hours. Remember those moments when you lost track of time because you were fully engaged? Maybe you lost yourself in a painting exercise or nailed a study session that felt almost effortless? That's the flow state talking. Right now, you're being guided to trust that current. What project or class sparks that deep focus for you, the one that makes the world fade out? How could you let yourself follow that call without over-planning? Now, link that back to our Four of Swords advice from the general reading. Before you leap away from an unfulfilling gig or into a brand new course, give yourself a moment of pause. Rest doesn't have to be Netflix binges or endless social scrolling. It can be a quiet cup of tea at your desk, a short walk around the block, or even closing your eyes and breathing deeply for 5 minutes. That calm clears out the static so you can hear the river's gentle murmur or the Eight of Cups is urging to move on. When was the last time you gave yourself that kind of reset midweek? Could a little silence help you decide whether to stay the course or strike out? But once you're rested and clear, the Knight of Swords energy is ready to sprint in. That's the buzz you get when you suddenly know exactly which jobs to apply for, which workshop to enroll in, or which mentor to reach out to. It's like a lightning bolt. You see your next step, you grab your resume or fire off that email, and you go. Yet because that energy can burn hot, watch out for jumping into something before you've really inspected it. Have you ever fired off an enthusiastic message and then spotted a crucial detail you missed? Use that night spark, but pair it with a quick reality check. Maybe skim the fine print before you hit send. Bursting through all of this is the Llama's lesson from the general reading. You have more endurance and adaptability than you give yourself credit for, but don't pile on more than you can carry. If you overloaded your schedule with 3 classes, 2 side gigs, and a strict workout plan, you might find your mental pack snapping. So as you stroll down that Eight of Cups path or float with the river, check in with yourself. What are you carrying that you can drop? Perhaps it's an old perfectionist standard or someone else's expectations. How can you lighten up so your pace feels natural and sustainable? And let's not forget the haystack's karma message. The seeds you planted in your career or studies months ago, late-night brainstorming sessions, helping a classmate with notes, taking on extra tasks at work, are ready to sprout. You might receive a recommendation from someone you mentored, or get a surprise invite to interview because your quiet effort stopped someone in their tracks. On the flip side, Any corners you cut or half-hearted commitments may circle back with a reminder to make things right. What good deed or dedicated effort from your past has gone unnoticed until now? How might you nurture that growth and clear up anything that's weighing you down? Putting this all together, Scorpio, your career and education reading for early May is a dynamic dance. The Eight of Cups offers freedom from what's draining you, while the River Oracle invites you to glide into inspiration without friction. You'll weave in pauses of rest so you don't burn out, ignite your drive when clarity strikes, lean on your inner llama strength to adjust whenever you need, and keep an eye on the karma of your past efforts blooming now. It's a cycle of honest evaluation, gentle surrender, decisive action, grounded resilience, and mindful harvesting. So right now, ask yourself, in what part of your work or classes do you feel you're just going through the motions? Where do you sense a current pulling you towards something more aligned with your gifts and passions? When will you give yourself permission to breathe deeply and listen? How will you channel that Knight of Swords urgency without losing sight of what's truly important? And finally, which contributions or efforts from your past are ready to reward you if you tend them now? May is offering a chance to trade in old routines for a more flowing, purposeful path. Trust that you've got both the courage and the wisdom to make it happen. Moving on, let's take a look at the opportunities surrounding your personal and spiritual growth. Your self-care wisdom oracle card is Success, and the tarot card is the Wheel of Fortune. I see the Wheel of Fortune spinning its giant circle, reminding you that life moves in cycles. What goes up will eventually come down, and vice versa. You might feel like you've been stuck on a plateau, wondering when change will arrive, and suddenly the wheel clicks and you're lifted to a new vantage point. Maybe you've been working on a personal habit, like getting up early to journal or diving into meditation apps, and you hit a point where everything just starts to click. One morning, you wake up and your usual mind chatter eases, letting you actually sink into silence instead of fighting to stay still. That's the Wheel of Fortune shifting you into a fresh arc of growth. But wheels spin fast. One moment you're riding high, the next you're testing your balance as it turns again. If you've been grappling with self-judgment or inner doubt, you might suddenly feel a surge of optimism. A friend you reach out to offers words that resonate, or you stumble across a podcast that speaks directly to your soul's yearning. That's part of the wheel's rhythm. It's urging you to embrace the twists and turns, to remember that even bumps are part of the ride that builds your resilience. How have your own highs and lows taught you something about your true purpose? When the wheel shifts, where are you most tempted to cling to the familiar instead of flowing with destiny? Now, layer on the Oracle of Success, and you get this sense that right now the universe is leaning in to help. Problems that once felt like brick walls start to feel like speed bumps. Deadlines you worried about slide through, or a long-standing creative block dissolves when you least expect it. You could be rewriting a chapter of your life, maybe literally drafting that memoir or mapping out a vision board, and suddenly resources show up. A book recommendation from a stranger, a spontaneous invitation to a workshop, or even a free ticket to a retreat that lands in your inbox. I've seen it happen when someone is genuinely ready to transform. They proclaim, even if in a whisper, "I want to grow," and suddenly doors start opening. It's like the cosmos is cheering you on, rallying helpers and gifts that make the climb gentler. When I weave the Wheel of Fortune and the flow of success into what our general reading unveiled, it's a tapestry of joy, rest, action, resilience, and karma. The Ten of Cups reminded you that emotional flourishing is within reach, and in personal growth that can look like moments of pure, heart-opening gratitude. When you pause and feel the love for your own journey, when you catch yourself smiling at how far you've come. Let that sense of completion guide you now as you ride the wheel's uplift. But don't forget the Four of Swords has your back, telling you to carve out spaces for quiet integration. After a breakthrough in your meditation or a flash of insight about your life's purpose, you may be tempted to sprint ahead, but give yourself a moment to absorb it. Have you ever had an aha moment on a walk only to lose it halfway through the day? How might sitting with that insight, jotting it down, or sketching it out help you anchor it more deeply? Then, like the Knight of Swords charging forward with newfound clarity, you're ready to act on your revelations. Suppose you realize you want to enroll in a course on dream interpretation, or you feel called to start a daily gratitude practice. That same fearless energy can carry you through cold calling a mentor, signing up for a workshop, or even rearranging your morning routine to prioritize your soul's needs. Just watch for the Llama's wisdom from our earlier reading. Don't overpack your mental saddle with too many new commitments at once. Focus on the one that resonates most deeply. Meanwhile, the Llama's message of perseverance and pacing reminds you that growth is a journey through rugged terrain. There will be steep climbs and barren stretches, but you have the strength to navigate them. Surrender to the idea that you don't have to control every twist of the Wheel of Fortune. Trust that the winds that spin it are steering you toward your highest good. What parts of your spiritual or personal practice feel like heavy burdens rather than sources of joy? How can you lighten your load so you can dance more freely with change? And the Haystack's Karma card echoes here too. The seeds you've planted in self-care, positive affirmations, or acts of kindness toward yourself and others are ready to sprout. If you've been patient with yourself when you stumbled, honest about your needs, and generous with encouragement to loved ones, you may notice new doors opening. Perhaps someone offers to guide you, or you find that the universe returns your compassion in unexpected ways. If you've been critical or neglectful of your own inner world, this period might spotlight where you need to extend yourself more grace. So for the first half of May, in both personal and spiritual realms, the story is one of riding life's cycles with curiosity and courage, celebrating the effortless flow of synchronicity and grounding each gift through restful reflection. Maybe you'll wake up one morning and feel a deep sense of rightness, as though you've plugged into the wheel's current and someone drops a helpful resource in your lap. That's your cue to sprint forward a bit, then pause again to weave that new thread into your tapestry. Ask yourself, which recent shifts in my life feel like parts of a bigger pattern? Where am I being supported, even if I don't see the full picture yet? How can I balance action with quiet integration, so I'm not just spinning wheels but moving forward with purpose? And finally, what karmic rewards am I ready to embrace right now, knowing they're the harvest of seeds I planted long ago? Lean into that Scorpio tenacity. You're equipped to handle change, to spot the gifts hidden in chaos, and to ride the wheel with both courage and trust. This could be one of those weeks where you look back and wonder how everything fell into place so beautifully. Stay open, stay curious, and trust that the current of success is carrying you exactly where you need to be. In summary, for the first half of May, I get the sense of walking into a sunlit room that invites you to both linger and leap. There's this warm, heart-opening vibe, like the kind you feel when you crack open a photo album at a family reunion, mixed with these hush moments that call you to take a breather. Then suddenly you get this jolt of inspiration, as though you've been handed the perfect idea at exactly the right time. Underneath it all, there's a sense that you're tougher and more adaptable than you give yourself credit for, and that the universe is keeping score in the nicest possible way. What you give out, you get back. You might find yourself in the kitchen with friends, swapping stories over coffee, and realizing how deeply you care about these connections. Maybe it's a laid-back weekend barbecue where laughter pours as freely as the lemonade, and you feel complete contentment in that circle. Have you ever noticed how a simple gathering can remind you what really matters? And in the midst of that warmth, you could suddenly crave a pocket of quiet, like slipping away to your backyard patio or pulling the covers up for a spontaneous nap. Think about a time when you paused mid-afternoon and woke up feeling lighter. What if giving yourself that kind of unplugged downtime could spark fresh insights? After that rest, expect a burst of momentum. Picture yourself sitting at your desk, idly scrolling through your inbox, when out of nowhere a message pops up with a golden opportunity. Maybe an invite to collaborate on a project, a chance to pitch an idea at work, or an email from someone you admire asking for your input. That surge of clarity can hit you like a lightning bolt, and you'll feel that familiar itch to act fast. Have you ever shot off an enthusiastic reply and watched a door swing wide open? This period could bring more of those breakthrough moments. At the same time, keep in mind that your resilience is your secret weapon. You've weathered tough patches before. Maybe a rocky relationship that taught you boundaries, or a class you nearly dropped because it felt all wrong. Remember how you adapted, learned, and eventually moved forward stronger? Now imagine releasing anything that feels like dead weight, old grudges, someone else's expectations, or a plan you've outgrown, and feel how much lighter you become. Are there burdens you're holding that you could lay down right now? And since the universe is watching your every move, karma is real this season. If you've been generous with a listening ear, honest feedback, or small acts of kindness, expect those energies to flow right back to you. Perhaps in the form of an unexpected compliment, a helpful contact, or a random favor. On the flip side, if there's something you've swept under the rug, a harsh word or a promise you didn't keep, you might feel a gentle nudge reminding you to make it right. What good deed have you tucked away that's due for a happy return? What loose end needs tying up before you can move fully into new territory? When it comes to love and relationships, you've got this thrilling mix of drive and independence. You could find yourself syncing up with someone in powerful ways, dreaming up a trip, teaming up on a creative endeavor, or simply laughing late into the night because you're on the same wavelength. But you'll also be reminded that real freedom in a partnership isn't about doing everything together. It's about honoring each other's quirks and solo interests. Think of a couple you know who cheers each other on when one picks up painting and the other trains for a race. How might that kind of mutual support enrich your love life? On the flip side, if you're single, you might feel that familiar tug of hesitation, wondering if commitment means losing your independence. But here's the twist: letting someone in can actually expand your world. Remember a time when sharing a hobby or goal with someone else made it twice as fun? What if this is your invitation to leap into new connections with confidence, trusting that you can stay true to yourself while building something together? In your career and studies, you could be standing at a crossroads, sensing that what you're doing now isn't feeding your soul the way it should. Maybe you've been slogging through a project that makes you dread Monday mornings, or you're stuck in courses that feel more like a chore than a calling. This is your green light to walk toward work or learning that resonates with your heart. Picture yourself diving into a workshop that thrills you, or finding a mentor who lights you up. Have you ever let go of something safe and found something far more rewarding in its place? The invitation to go with the flow is strong right now. Think of times when you've been so absorbed in a task, painting, dancing, writing, or even a long shower, that hours slip by and you come out feeling refreshed and inspired. That's the flow state, and it's yours for the taking if you trust the current instead of fighting it. What activity pulls you in so deeply that the rest of the world falls away? On your personal and spiritual journey, you're in a chapter where cycles are shifting, where luck seems to show up just when you need it, and helpful people cross your path like divine appointments. Perhaps you'll stumble onto a book that answers a lingering question, or bump into someone whose words land exactly right. Those little miracles are signposts that you're aligned with your destiny. Remember a moment when a random quote or symbol felt like a wink from the universe? Let yourself stay open so these gifts can keep flowing. Through it all, keep your affirmation close. I welcome all new opportunities and experiences. Say it when you feel hesitation creeping in. Feel it settle like a warm blanket, reminding you that life is richer when you stay curious and open-hearted. You're being called to lean into both the quiet pauses and the high-energy surges, to release what no longer serves, and to celebrate the blessings that keep showing up. I sense that this first half of May will be a time when you surprise yourself with how gracefully you juggle deep connection, intentional rest, bold leaps, and gentle trust in your own strength. You'll find joy in the simplest gatherings, clarity in moments of stillness, and momentum when inspiration strikes. The doors you open, the weights you drop, and the seeds you've sown will all weave together into a story of growth, resilience, and genuine fulfillment. Keep your heart and mind open. You've got everything you need to turn these weeks into something truly magical, and I can't wait to see where you'll go next. Did this reading give you clarity? If so, please like and subscribe.